Hello everyone, I'm Matt.
And I'm Kayla.
Bringing you the stuff that matters around the globe. So sit back, relax, and don't touch that remote, because this is your world news. Last season, we brought you the news that eccentric convict Charles Manson was to be wed to Afton Burton around Valentine's Day. We regret to inform you all that the wedding has unfortunately been called off after reports have surfaced that Burton wanted to marry Manson not for love, but for the rights to his corpse. Yes, Burton's master plan was to wed Manson, and upon his death, display his lifeless body in a glass case in Los Angeles as a tourist attraction. As horrific as that sounds, think about it for a second. I want you to look me right in the eye and tell me that you wouldn't pay $5 to see Charles Manson's corpse if you had the opportunity. If I saw something like that, my first question wouldn't be, is this ethical? It would be, do you accept MasterCard?
If Brian Williams was your source for trusted news, it's a sad day for you. Mostly because this is who you get your news from. But also because he has been suspended for 6 months from NBC without pay for misremembering that time he almost died. Brian Williams famously said that when in Iraq in 2003, his helicopter came under rocket fire. He later backtracked and said he assumed it came under fire because of an unscheduled landing, and when they did land, they were next to a helicopter that was actually hit. So he assumed they had been too. Brian, having a rocket hit your helicopter isn't like losing your virginity for the first time. You don't need to experience it to know what it's really like. Although, that could explain why he said the experience felt like, you know, when you've been hit by bags of sand?
We've all heard of chickenpox parties, where parents will expose their children to chickenpox early on in life. While the rationale there is questionable at best, a new craze is sweeping the nation: measles parties. While I feel inclined to just blame Florida and move on, I think it's worth noting that measles are incredibly dangerous to expose to anyone, much less a child. If you're planning on exposing your children to the measles deliberately, however, I would like to invite you to a little get-together I'm hosting this weekend at my house. There'll be cake, jugglers, my Uncle Daryl, punch, and of course, a special guest appearance by Child Protective Services.
Jon Stewart let it slip during Tuesday's taping of The Daily Show that he was planning to retire later this year. It's unknown what he plans to do after he leaves or where I will get my news from now. We can say that with Colbert gone and Jon leaving, Witticism is now your most trusted source for late-night satirical news.
The parents of a 6-year-old boy are under fire after they allegedly staged a kidnapping in order to teach their young son about, what else? Stranger danger. The boy was lured into a pickup truck by friends of his parents, blindfolded, tied to the wall of a shed, and told that he would be sold into sex slavery. After hours of torment, he was released and told by his parents that this is why he must never ever accept rides from strangers, and the only reason they did it was because he was too nice and naive. Understandably, the boy's parents are being charged with felony kidnapping and abuse. And while I don't condone what they did, I honestly think kids these days are just too soft. If these parents are felons for pretending to have their son kidnapped for being too nice, imagine what kind of trouble my parents would be in if anyone ever found out that they sent me to Guantanamo Bay for doing all of my chores. And that's all the time we have for World News today. Stick around for all the latest stories out of Hollywood with Brittany and Vicky. I'm Matt.
And I'm Kayla.
You stay beautiful, Indiana.
Thanks guys, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Vicky, and this is your Hollywood news, so here's the scoop. Iggy is calling out Papa John's on Twitter for a data breach thanks to their delivery boy. Iggy has said that after she ordered a pizza from her favorite pizza place, she has received a ton of texts from random people saying that the driver gave them her number. Iggy is rightfully upset because Papa John's also has her credit card info and address on file for the delivery. Papa John's responded by tweeting, #We should have known better. Customer and employee privacy is important to us. Please don't #bounce us. DiGiorno then jumped into the mess like a best friend that's in love with you when you're taken. That's always saying, if we were together, I would never do that. By tweeting, delivery, shake my head. To Iggy's claims, look, just to play the devil's advocate, I think Papa John's is just excited that someone out there said that they were their favorite pizza, which is a lot better than the usual response Papa John's gets. Ew, hard pass.
Kanye West should win a Grammy for being notorious for disrespecting people while on stage. During the ceremony, a Grammy was presented to Beck for Artist of the Year, in which Kanye made his way up on the stage. He was just about to grab the mic and then sat back down. The audience broke out in laughter as they all assumed it was a joke, mocking himself at the Grammys in 2009 when he so rudely interrupted Taylor Swift with his ever so famous "I'ma let you finish" speech. Kanye then said in an interview with E! That Beck was disrespectful in the fact that he did not give his award to Beyonce. Even though I agree that Queen Bee should have won, Kanye, you have no right to say Beck is disrespectful. And just thinking that makes you a hypocrite. Sit back down with your "why are you even famous? Oh, right, porn star wife, cause I'ma not let you finish."
In other news, Weezy and baby daddy Birdman are divorcing. Weezy is in an uproar because Birdman has refused to release his album and Lil Wayne is just not having it. He's taking Nicki Minaj and side chick Drake along with multiples of $1 million, racking up to $50 million. Why can't we just go back to the days when real thugs showed real love?
Someone called the FBI and the Illuminati and the Bajancy. Beyonce has been snubbed. On Sunday, the 57th annual Grammy Awards were held and clearly the committee lost their mind. The Album of the Year award was given to Beck. Beck, you better hide your kids and hide your wife because the Bayhive is coming for you. And the Scientology, we here at Witticism know you were behind this.
If you haven't already purchased your tickets for 50 Shades of Grey, I have to ask, what is wrong with you? In a story that can only come, yes, Florida, it is being reported that St. Petersburg Corey Allen Contemporary Art Showroom will be putting up a naked statue of Bill Cosby in an art exhibit. I guess sexually assaulting 37 women and counting isn't bad enough. The statue is completely naked except for a small fat Albert covering his genitals, and no, that is not a euphemism. There is literally a small fat Albert covering him like a weird fig leaf. The statue's artist, Roadman Edwards, said he made the statue to show Cosby's creation at odds with each other, to parallel the way that the Dr. Huxtable character is at odds with Bill Cosby amid the slew of recent allegations. I mean, I get what you're trying to say with this piece of art, but this just is horrifying.
That's all for your weekly update. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Vicky.
Now here is what's bothering Valerie.
Thanks guys, I'm Valerie, and starting tonight and every other week, I will be spending a few minutes doing what I do best, ranting about things I hate at the current moment. Tonight's topic, everyone's current favorite cat lady, Taylor Swift. Anyone who's watched this show at all in the past year knows from our stories, I don't care for her. Now that is not a criticism on her talent, but her as a person. Now, let me just say, I was a huge fan of Taylor for years, but somewhere between saying Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are going to hell for writing a joke about her and writing an entire album about a guy you dated for 3 months over 2 years ago, I'm over her, just over her. Now, when it comes to publicity, Taylor Swift is a sex tape away from being on the same level as the Kardashians. For years, we've been bombarded with stories and photos of who she's dating, what she's wearing, and pictures of her cats on a daily basis. Her last album sold over 1 million copies its first week out. This was largely due to the many PR stunts she did involving her fans, from following them on Tumblr to showing up at their house, helping them pay off loans, visiting and meeting sick children in hospital. Taylor's success is largely due to her very close relationship with her fans. Side note, can we please stop praising celebrities for doing nice things in front of the cameras? Of course they're going to be nice when we're watching. How else will we know how great they are? But look, take Tom Cruise for instance. Did you know that for years he's visited a military base for every single city he films in? He just stops in, says hi, eats a meal with them, and takes the day to meet everyone he can on that base. Most people would know that about him because he doesn't advertise it. The only reason that this has gotten out is because the people he meets has shared it. And no, these visits don't conveniently take place in the weeks leading up to his millionth Mission Impossible movie. It's just something he does because despite being in a cult, he's legitimately a nice guy. With the buzz of her new album finally dying down, Taylor Swift and her team are suing fans that sell merch in her likeness on Etsy. Yeah, Etsy, the same place my mom sells the alpaca socks she knits. Taylor's fans, who wish to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, have said, quote, "We originally made the items for fun. We love Taylor, we've had friends that love Taylor. We never intended for it to be a profit-making item. The cost of the items covers shipping and production costs, and we have very little left over. When we got the email that a trademark infringement had occurred, we were pretty shocked because while our item was popular, we didn't feel that it would threaten her very popular empire." She continued saying, most people like us are just trying to be respectful and contribute to the excitement that the artist brings into our lives. When that is taken away, it leaves us with a very bitter taste in our mouths. Taylor Swift is also suing her old guitar teacher, Ronnie Kramer, for the website, and this is true, ITaughtTaylorSwift.com. He claims that he helped her record a demo, taught her guitar twice a week when a music technology program, Albaton. Look, this I almost get, but at the same time, the guy's only claim to fame is that he helped Taylor Swift play guitar when she was a kid. Give the guy a break and let him get some business. This all comes after Taylor Swift filed it to trademark her stuff like This Sick Beat from her song Shake It Off, as well as a bunch of other lyrics from 1989. Presumably so she doesn't lose a lot of money on merch the way Drake did when he sued Walmart for selling shirts with YOLO on them. This is where the trademark almost makes sense. But again, these aren't huge corporations we're talking about. These are just fans of hers that were trying to create art that she inspired. When Beyonce's fans created a sweatshirt with the lyrics Cake by the Pound on it, she wore it in her 7-Eleven video. That is how you celebrate your fans and their art. I would also like to take a minute and point out that Taylor Swift cats are named Meredith Grey and Detective Olivia Benson, both characters on Grey's Anatomy and also Law & Order Special Victims Unit. She also showed pictures over Christmas of her cat carriers with her cat's names embroidered on them. That means she paid someone to make a product for her cats using trademark names and characters. So if anyone needs me, I'll be waiting for Shonda Rhimes and Dick Wolf to sue her for trademark infringement over illegal use for their characters for unauthorized merchandise. Well, that's all that's on my mind this week, so here's your weekly advice with Kelly.
Thanks, Valerie. Wow, there sure was a lot bothering you. Anyway, welcome to this episode's advice with me, Kelly. Dear Kelly, my boyfriend and I have been together now for 4 months. Things have been going great. He's sweet and I really like him. However, there is just one problem. I'm a huge romantic, and every time I bring up Valentine's Day, he just goes off on some rant about how it's just a corporate ploy and blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of crap. It's just ridiculous. I received a phone call yesterday from a restaurant asking if our reservations were still correct. And then a flower delivery company called asking for an address for the flowers to be sent to. But then comes the big day and nothing happened. I'm confused. Did he just forget about me, or did something else come up? Please help. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're not the only girl he's dealing with. You might have to find another boyfriend, sweetie. Next. Dear Kelly, I need your advice. I think my boyfriend thinks I'm annoying and talks too much. I was looking through his phone, email, drawers, you know, the usual. Do you think I should break up with him before he breaks up with me? Thanks, Mandy. Mandy, girl, you got some issues. And no, I don't know what that kind of usual is. However, I don't think he thinks you're annoying, or I don't think he thinks you're talking too much. You might be paranoid and crazy, but that's just about it. I do recommend you to watch the new 50 Shades movie this weekend with him and see what he thinks it's about. That's all the time we have for today. Make sure you tune in next week. Thanks for watching.